So, GM foods, oh, we're going to have a trial and see what happens. It's decided it's going to come in unless we say no. And what you do, what is it about? One of the major Illuminati companies in the world that comes up in my research constantly, Monsanto. It's given us some wonderful things, Monsanto. And what is it about? It's about playing with the genetics of the human body for reasons of suppressing our ability to express our true infinite genius and oneness of all, connecting with other dimensions of ourself, not some spaceship, other dimensions of ourselves in our infinite mind. And also, it is about putting patents on seeds that farmers in the poorest countries of the world will have to pay the transnationals for to use to scrap a living of survival. That's what it's about. And for a Labour government, party of the people, to be supporting this just shows who's really in control of that party. Then, have you noticed Blair now wants to bring in fluoride in the water, and of course all around the world they're doing that. In America, fluoride in the water, good for teeth. Crap! In Toronto, there's a guy called Lineback, who was one of the greatest supporters of fluoride in the water. He's the head of dentistry at Toronto University. He's come out now and said, for God's sake, don't have it, don't have it. And as he was saying, they've had it in the water for years, decades in Toronto. They don't have it in the water in Vancouver. There are fewer cavities by a mile per head of population in Vancouver than there are in Toronto. Hey, it's good for teeth. Hey, wait, let's see what it's really about. Do you know when the fluoride was first put in drinking water? In the Nazi concentration camp. Stands back in amazement, can't believe it. This is Charles Perkins, a chemist, who wrote to the Lee Foundation for Nutritional Research, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in 1954, and this is what he wrote. In the 1930s, Hitler and the German Nazis envisaged a world to be dominated and controlled by a Nazi philosophy of pan-Germanism. The German chemists worked out a very ingenious and far-reaching plan of mass control, which was submitted to and adopted by the German General Staff. This plan was to control the population in any given area through mass medication of drinking water supplies. By this method, they could control the population in whole areas, reduce population by water medication that would induce sterility in women, and so on. In this scheme of mass control, sodium fluoride occupied a prominent place. That's what it's about. Vaccinations, same bloody thing. And then, this is a little cameo of how those that are orchestrating the secret agenda are also involved in bringing it into the movie. Aspartame, or aspartame, 200 times more sweet than sugar, and it is lethal stuff. They actually tell American Air Force pilots not to drink soft drinks because it affects their ability to fly. Why? Because of the aspartame in it. It's now more and more in foods of all kinds. And they even have aspartame disease. It is a mind suppressant among many other things. Hey, who was the man who brought aspartame to the world by manipulating the authorities in America by putting people who supported him and his aspartame policies in positions of power to make that decision and removing those that would not? Oh, aspartame man. Donald Rumsfeld, who was put into sell pharmaceuticals in America using his contacts in the Reagan-Bush administration to get aspartame permission to be used in food against all the independent data. Then who did he sell out to for $12 million of his own money? Monsanto, who now run the show.